Hey guys, it's Noah here. Welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Today, I wanted to talk about my personal wish list for the upcoming Destiny 2 expansion, The Witch Queen, which is set to come out early 2022 with a reveal event coming August 24th, as well as I want to discuss some ideas for the seasons that will follow it as well. Now, this is just my personal wish list of things I'd like to see. Don't take any of this as confirmed or official. And this is also coming from someone that mainly plays PvP, but I do dabble in PvE occasionally, so I'm going to touch on that as well, of course. Let's get into it. So we're going to start with the obvious. This is what pretty much everyone wants, and what is nearly all but confirmed is getting a new Darkness subclass. Green has been heavily associated with all the Witch Queen material so far, and most people believe it's going to be either some poison or gas-related ability, something along those lines. I think this is a great idea. Lots of different ways we can approach that. But really the number one thing Bungie needs to ensure they do is make sure it is properly balanced. We cannot have another repeat of what happened with Stasis. It took them months to address this, which, I mean, granted, this mainly affected PvP, but of course that's what my channel is mainly focused on. But even with PvE, it's what nearly everyone used for a long time. Even if it's not properly balanced right away, because I get it, that's not super easy to test, and no game is going to be perfect right away. But regardless, it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed fairly quickly. I know lots of YouTubers I used to watch, even people I'm friends with, stopped playing until Stasis just recently got nerfed. In terms of the story, it's already very anticipated. By the time it's released, they would have had a year and a half to work on it. I have no doubt the campaign's going to be fantastic though. Bungie are just amazing storytellers. Now, we don't know any details on what the world's going to look like exactly. I know Old Chicago has been heavily rumored and wanted by the community for a while now. If we are getting a poison-like subclass, I think it makes sense, and the world has a lot of potential to look really cool and fascinating. I really love a lot of the concept art. It shows, a very dark world, swampy, can be full of gas, danger, mystery. I think it's going to be awesome, and I'm very excited for whatever is going to come with it. I've also seen going around on Reddit and Twitter, people not really wanting missions that are just like take out X amount of enemies the whole time. Which, I do agree with to an extent. At the core of it though, Destiny's a first-person shooter. That's kind of how most shooters work. But I do think Bungie's starting to stray from that a little bit. We've seen this season the Expunge and Override missions. We've seen platforming, more puzzles, more secrets. And I'd really love to experience more of those concepts fully fleshed out in a full-fledged campaign. And with that, the classic Destiny feeling that we all know and love. Unfortunately now though, it does seem that when Bungie gives, they also need to take, so let's talk about content vaulting. I'm not really sure if it's the physical file size of the game, or something on the server side of things, or maybe even a combination of both, but content vaulting is unfortunately a thing now, and it seems like it's going to stick around. Even if a lot of the content that was vaulted pre-Beyond Light launch was not the best ever, it still sucks. And last time around we lost a lot. Different modes, strikes, Crucible maps, locations, etc. And since Beyond Light launch, there really has not even been that much added to the game to replace that if they are going to vote stuff again. And it has not even been officially announced by them yet, but I'm sure if it is going to happen, we will probably know fairly soon. And I feel like there's only a few logical options for this. Firstly, we're going to start with the EDZ, possibly even the Cosmodrome. We'll start with the latter. I'm pretty sure Cosmodrome was just added around the same time as Beyond Light, if I'm not mistaken. It has a few strikes in it. It serves as the starting hub for new light players, so I don't really see that going. EDZ makes sense. There's not really a whole lot going on there, and if a rumored Old Chicago does end up being true, we don't really need two Earth-like locations. It is an OG D2 location, but we also have Nessus, which I personally like more, and it has more strikes. So if we really do need to vote something, I'd probably go with the EDZ. Another option that I've heard thrown around is for Forsaken content. I'd honestly be devastated if this happened because I absolutely love Forsaken. I think it's an amazing expansion. I love the Tangled Shore. I love the Dreaming City. It is arguably the best raid in the game, and it's just a fun experience overall. I have a sweet spot for it. I started playing Destiny 2 a few months before Forsaken launched, and a lot of the hype around it prior to launch is what really made me want to start playing the game in the first place. I personally do not see them vaulting Forsaken. It's still pretty recent and a pretty big chunk of the game. Bungie said before, I'm pretty sure that they're going to make it free to play before it goes to the vault, which they have not done yet. So I'm going to put this in the not super likely category, but I feel like it's still plausible. Along with all of this, I really do hope the Witch Queen and the seasons that follow it will come with some nice quality of life improvements and just some fun new content to every aspect of Destiny 2. I hope we get some new great weapons. I believe there was only 2 stasis weapons, so more elemental weapons for whatever the new subclass is going to be would be great. I personally want more primary weapons, and in general would like more powerful primary weapons as a more feasible option. PvP right now is pretty much dominated by special ammo weapons. PvE as well, really, but in general, please buff primaries. Please, Bungie. Please also give us more Crucible maps. I don't even care if your old ones brought back in. I'd prefer new maps based off of Witch Queen, Beyond Lights Europa. We haven't got a single map in like 600 plus days. That's pretty absurd and really not acceptable. It does seem like we are going to be getting new Crucible maps before the Witch Queen drops, but let's just keep the ball rolling. Let's keep bringing more in. I think Crucible in general needs more incentive to play it. Like, give us some cool new weapons to work for and grind for. Like we have the Not Forgotten in the past. Even just other incentives for bragging rights, like shaders, armor, ornaments, etc. This is probably a topic I can even touch on in another video, but I did just want to briefly mention it here. Touching on PvE, I'd like to see the Legends tab expanded. So right now we have the Vault of Glass, right? I'd like to keep at least one raid there as like the highlighted event, with it maybe rotating every season or even every other season. That way they have enough time to work on remastering other older raids from D1, possibly even some vaulted D2 ones. But something else I was thinking they could have there could be like a rotating playlist, maybe resetting at each weekly. This could include Legacy Strikes, Nightfalls, previous seasonal events like the Menagerie, Forges, even previous Legacy campaigns. Basically just old vaulted content or old D1 content brought back into the game. For one, we know nostalgia sells. Even if they don't make any changes, it would still be something somewhat fresh for the game every week. An even better idea would be if Bungie took this opportunity to fully flesh out some of these ideas. For previous campaigns, for example, they could add new content to them, more context in the story, just fully flesh out those underwhelming campaigns that we know Activision probably forced them to rush out. I'm looking at you, Curse of Osiris and Red War. Or like they did for Vault of Glass, they could just remaster old raids, bring back the raid wares and expand on those a bit. Just add and change some mechanics for the better. Anyways, these were just some of my thoughts and ideas I had. Either way, I'm really looking forward to the Witch Queen next year. I hate that it's still so far away, but I know it's going to be for the best. And I have very high hopes for the reveal next month. I am very excited. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. I'd love to know about ideas you may have for things and stuff that you're excited for that's going to come soon. Let me know down below. I'd love to talk about this further. Anyways, though, that's all I have for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm out. Peace.